I was getting mini cooked about this take on the timeline, man. After watching the WNBA playoffs, and this is a stance that I honestly had prior to the fact, man. 7-game series are not necessary, at least in the first 2 rounds.
Yep, I was right. I told you I was right.
In the first 2 rounds, at the very least. It's a conversation to be had about every single round, bro. But if you want to disagree with the take, that's fine. Under the tweet, hey, trying to get the off on me. You casual, you non-ball loving. Like, God, relax.
I'm not gonna call you.
Relax. But yeah, no, I just think what I've seen from the W, and even what I've seen from NCAA March Madness, what I've seen with everyone, what everyone loves about football, is the fact that when you put on a game, there is a sense of urgency from both sides of the fence in terms of the significance of said game. Now, I understand the playoffs as a whole is already a stage of more significant games. However, we even have when we talk about playoff series, once game 1 is over, we're like, I mean, it's only game 1, guys. We can't overreact now. It's game 1. Game 2 is 2-0. I mean, series don't start till a road team wins, right, guys? And I'm looking at the WNBA playoffs. By game 2, someone is on the verge of getting eliminated. By game 2, so the urgency is immediately there. Right? By game 3, it's a winner-go-home situation. So I just feel like, listen, if you prefer the 7-game series, and I'm not acting like the 7-game series hasn't been successful, I'm not acting like I haven't enjoyed a 7-game series before. And I'm also not going to act like I understand. I don't understand why the NBA has 7-game series. It is a ratings thing. It is a money thing. But from an entertainment standpoint, I personally would prefer shorter series, 5-game series in the first round, 5 in the second, then we go 7 in the conference finals and the NBA finals. Let's start there. But that's my hot take, man.
Yeah, I definitely disagree. First off, the second round being of 5 games too is crazy, especially given how things can play out. Because I can even remotely understand the first round being 5 games, considering the first, hypothetically speaking, the best team in a conference is playing the worst qualifying team in the conference. If you think you want to speed that up, get that over with, cool. And then the middle round matchup, hey, nigga, good luck. That'll be the exciting one. And that's just from an ideals perspective, let alone factoring how evolved the glorious 2020s NBA is. But we don't even go down that rabbit hole. But then when you get to the second round, it's literally like 1 in 4, 2 and 3. Come on, man. Like at that point, let them play. But that's one too. I don't like the comparison to other leagues. When we're talking about college basketball, hell, college sports are all about not necessarily determining who the best in the world is, but an invitation to a playoff and having a speed ran tournament to see who wins this year. It's about the excitement. It's about the random brag rapping. It's about all of these things. They literally kind of embrace the RNG into it. When you bring up football, I mean, I'm pretty sure one of the tweets mentioned it to you, but gang, they can't play 2 games straight. So let's get football out of there. And then last and certainly not least, at the end of the day, the NBA is going to be about the brand of the NBA is determining the best of the best. This is the best of the best. I would like to see clear cut that, yeah, this team is certainly better than the others. They beat them 4 times out of 7. It's over with. GG's. And I also think we're downplaying the stories that we get from 7-game series. I get now it's easy to brush it off and be like, oh yeah, well, by game 2 we pretty much think this or whatever, and it's a task to hold your takes back. Well, hey, stop talking to dumbasses that hold their takes back. This is the same dumbasses that will look at a 23-year-old averaging 40 and say, well, let's wait more time. Sorry, idiot. I think 40-point per game score is one of the best in the world.
If anything, we overplay it, but go ahead.
Yeah,
Also,
no.
like,
Those are my the two things that I have a problem with what you just said, Sage, as a whole. Football, they can't play 2 games back to back. Why not? They play, and not saying it has to be this day and then the next day or whatever the case may be. They can space the games out a week. I don't think the NFL would have a problem with doing that.
Nah. the amount of people that were mad at week 18 being a thing was already like spoke about, and they just did that. Week 18 literally is maybe the biggest fuck you the league has had to its players and coaches in how long. Nobody was happy about that shit, let alone the fact that there's an idea that, hey, we're going to play this team. If it's not one game, it'd have to be 2 out of 3. Playing the same team 3 times just to advance to play another team potentially 3 times. That again, hey, gang, I don't mean to be.
That wouldn't even be my my counterpoint.
Whoa.
That wouldn't even be my counterpoint to that. What I would just bring up is fine, right? They can only play once a week because of physical limitations. However, it is still an appeal as a consumer of the game that X and Y team is only going to play once a year. If I miss it, this shit is not going to happen for another 365 days.
Let me say this, because that wasn't my point. My point wasn't even necessarily to have the full playoffs be the series or whatever the case may be. If the Super Bowl is defining who the best of the best is, it would be same sentiments. It would be nice to see, them play multiple games. Same thing. You go back and you can strategize, all that same logic. The whole idea of it being physically painful on them, gang. It used to be NFL seasons with 8 games, right? So people adding more games really isn't that crazy of a deal. If they need to chop down the regular season to add it to the Super Bowl, which, trust me, the NFL would do, because the only reason why I think a lot of people would agree that they added the game is for money reasons. If they could put it on the back end in a place where they could get more money because it being a bigger deal, I don't think there's a problem with that. The people saying the physical limitations, y'all are stupid. It's football game.
Yes,
they would, if they wouldn't play one game. They wouldn't play one game if that was the case. If the physical things were the actual issue, we're so worried about it, they would arrest players more. It's not. That's definitely not what it's about. And my other point, let me say this, because this I think it kind of ties into it. This whole owners not losing that revenue, though, I get that if you were thinking the way that they were thinking, because I think the NBA is thinking if we do more, we'll gain more. But it's proven on the other sport, and there could be other reasons, but if we do less, we'll be able to get less. I will go out on a limb to say the NFL generates more money than the NFL, or the NFL generates more money than the NBA, and they do it with less. Creating that one game that is so valuable can generate so much more, to the point where it generates more than 7 games in theory.
Yeah, hypothetically, again, I guess I'll join the stupids. Dog, I don't know how to tell you. In terms of like determining the best, whatever lingo we want to mirror here, fine. At the end of the day, if it's a possibility to achieve a champion in the shortest amount of games played, the NFL should do and continue to do that. There's no reason they need to go out there and not only risk leg injuries, but hell, there's been endless rules changes to head contact, because everybody makes CTE jokes and shit, but like these niggas are dead getting concussions at crazy fucking rates here. Like, my God. So, I guess we'll forever agree to disagree there.
Wait,
that
listen,
makes me an idiot. Cool.
No, listen. We agree on that point. They should cut down regular season games too, right?
You saying the NFL playing more? That's too much.
Yeah. The NFL. Yeah. I mean, in terms of I don't know why they added dead week 18. I mean,
that's
we do know why, but nobody's a fan of that outside of NFL fans, but not NFL fans, literally people that play Madden and look at these niggas as like non-humans. Like nobody, when we heard that shit, at least in my group chat, we were like, they're trying to kill people out there. Like let alone the fact that in the playoffs they play harder. So that's another thing as well. Like literally, we can't have these stigmas about all these other sports. And when in the playoffs, when the game slows down, in the football playoffs, niggas is taking heads off because, hey, gang, what this fine going to do if I'm raising the Super Bowl? Right?
But even and I know Damo may want to chime in. Even to the point, we take that one game away, they have 17. Back when OJ and them used to play, it used to be 14 games. Take it all the way down.
But at least there's a normalized standard now. We're talking about making an adjustment here. If you want to take away more games, fine. I don't necessarily detest that. Is at some point, though, we do need to see a body of work to determine who qualifies for said tournament. We can't be overly obtuse here just to prove a point. We can't have a 4-game season just for the fucks of it. We can't have the Steelers only play the Browns, Bengals, and Ravens. Best record of the division. If there's a tiebreaker,
I'm not. I'll be clear. I'm not even saying be that extreme. Especially if there was a history with the records being set at 14 games. Let's always keep it at 14 games. And if you want to expand some more in the postseason, that's fine. I think the whole conversation. First of all, let me be clear to the people in the chat that think that I'm saying this. I think it should be 1 game. I agree with B-Souls. I also think that the NBA should go to probably like a 1-game model, especially for that first round. This whole concept of them trying to come at him about in football, they can't do more games. I can guarantee you in the next 5 years, there's probably going to be a conversation about adding another game, gang. With all the money that's coming into the NFL, they're probably going to say, you know what? Let's do another game so we can get more money. And the players
predicting that 18 is going to be treated like a crazy rest week, because a lot of seasons are over by week 17 anyway. That's why I'm so shocked they did it.
And I agree, but again, if the money make the world go around, they're gonna add another game. Like in our lifetimes, I would not be surprised if they bumped it up. To be honest with you, 3 games. And somebody who was born in the 70s lifetime, they've bumped it up 4 more games. So I don't think that that's a crazy thing to think. It's not about the health. That's not what's important. To be honest with you, we care about it. They don't give a fuck about that shit.
Mm-hmm. I'll let Damo go because Damo's been waiting.
Oh yeah, I have no dog in this race on the football conversation. I just wanted to say I disagree about lowering the 7 games. I'm on the opposite end, man. Make that bitch 9.
Oh my god, brother. Okay, why?
Let's really get the strategy out. You really want to know who the better team? Add 2 more games.
Best of 5 is nasty. It's not even like. I get your point. I disagree with that as well. Sometimes, by the way, me personally, I think it's too many chefs in the kitchen right now. The NBA is fine. I think the best of 7 series has definitely been working for them. Game 7s are at this point an iconic staple to basketball. Yes, there's other products working better with the single game elimination, best of 3, whatever. But to take away game 7s from the NBA, in my personal opinion, would be a horrible decision. To then add a game 9 and 5-0 sweeps.
The new game 7 would just be game 5, though. That's my thing. Everyone's like, oh, but the 7-game series, we wouldn't get LeBron. No shit, Sherlock, in a 5-game series, you can't come back from 3-1.
No shit. That's definitely a no shit Sherlock moment. To that, I would say, ultimately, again, I don't think there's a real reason to deduce it outside of instant gratification. I think there's nothing wrong with the format of, all right, we're going to do a best of 7 because, hey, if this team was able to beat you 4 times out of 7 games, the odds are they're the better team and they can move on. Injuries in basketball, I'm not going to say 3. What's wrong with 3? Because I mean, it's been shown throughout history. That's another thing. We're not in NBA Xenoverse where we're going to start it as game 5s and keep moving on. The fans that you're kind of downplaying right now, they have a point. I hate to just be that guy. If we have seen game 6s and game 7s completely switch the totality of series, the idea that, oh, we should now remove those things doesn't make sense. Do you understand the domino effect of all the drama, whatever? Maybe you want the negative views or whatever, but do you understand?
You're talking about the records and shit? Is that what you're talking about?
No. Hold on. Well, do you understand that, like, if you take away game 6 and 7, every team that wins 3-2, everyone's going to be like, but they wouldn't win the 7-game series, though. Or like every 2-2 series where people are going to be like, all right, this is where the coaches play. This is where we find out, do they get the 2-0? Is it going to be a 1-1? Is home court advantage going to be all that? Yeah, sure. Oh, well, hypothetically, that would just be game 5. I understand that. Nobody's missing that. But we've already seen game 6 and 7. To remove that is kind of literally just telling the fans, yo, we're just trying to get instant gratification here. And it's not necessarily a fuck you, but if anything, I would argue it's lazy.
But people are already getting the what ifs off regardless. They got it off last season.
But when most 7-game series are determined by the end of those things, unless injuries are out there, of course, that will be a thing in your world as well. People don't have these what ifs on a team that won a 7-game series.
Logically, they wouldn't.
Most of the time, they just move on and be like, okay, they're the better team.
Ultimately, logically, they wouldn't remove it. It's just something that B-Souls would want to see. I just don't like these people. They're not adding another game. There's injuries and stuff like that. That's what, they said that at 17. They said that at 16. They said that at 14. Like the people having these I feel like are obtuse conversations, as if capitalism won't capitalize. Yo, they'll add the game if they want to. Fuck, nigga, put that helmet on and get out there.
Yeah, it would take players, and in terms of the NFL, I do think players would have a fucking fit at 19. So that's an interesting conversation. I'm not saying Omar is ridiculous for believing that the idea of a week 19 or even 20 won't happen. Oh, that's probably already been discussed. But I would easily say, players.
He's saying Omar, no, they didn't. Sage literally just told you how him and his group chat were saying, another game. This is crazy. Like, niggas did say that. I was there too.
Niggas wasn't rocking with week 18. When week 18 dropped, I'm telling you, we was all like, damn, maybe if we were in high school, maybe we were in middle school, we'd be happy. Yo, once you realize that Saquon Barkley's a human, that nigga got to play behind the Giants O-line another game? What the fuck? But then they obviously got traded.